Mr. David Reid, thank you for joining us today on Next in Line. Man, I've been looking forward to for this date, for this recording for a number of reasons. It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you and talking to you and learning about the cause with redM and what you guys are behind and what you guys are, the impact that you guys are having on such a challenging, issue in the world right now. So Next in Line, just want to make sure that you also know about us as far as us as a podcast. Our North Star is always about trying to pay it forward to anybody in the community, whether it be career advice, whether it be, entering into the C-suite or college grad going into the first IT job or marketing, CMOs, you name it. It's all about just paying it forward.
Cool.
This one is a little different because passionate about what you're behind, and I'm happy and I'm excited about contributing my time and some of our company's time as well to make sure that we support the Miami chapter with you in the fight with this. 1,000% behind you. God bless for you doing this thing. You're affecting and you're taking care of so many different people on so many levels, my friend. So if you don't mind, can you introduce yourself? You're going to do a way better job than me.
Sure.
Introduce yourself and your background and, how did it all start?
Okay. I am currently CTO and CMO for a company called NOV. So a lot of 3-letter acronyms going on in my life. So yeah, technology, marketing, and a big manufacturer. We're about an $8 billion company. We make stuff all over the world. Big manufacturer, bit of software, but yeah, mostly I'm in with the creatives inventing something. So, but more kind of on the creative side. And I am the founder of an organization called redM that we started 7 years ago.
7.
And I wasn't trying to start an organization. It just happened to me. My wife and I have been involved in fighting human trafficking for about 15 years. I was basically trying to kick my kids out. So I thought I was being clever, but it backfired and turned into me getting involved in the fight against human trafficking. So
That's right.
Yeah, we just journeyed in. It was, I basically asked my wife who we're going to be when the kids are gone, and she jumped in and said, we're going to fight human trafficking. So she originally was like in the deep end. She was working with an organization in Houston, but she was doing undercover work, trying to identify where it was, because Houston wasn't saying it's here. There's a lot of political reasons people don't want to admit that their city has this problem. And so we were on that side. She was doing care work, and we ended up having survivors live with us, people who'd come out and had gotten help. One in particular she worked with, and then she ended up going through a program for recovery and then moved in for a while we found their feet. So that was a beginning for us. But I heard how dangerous it was, and I started to be a bit more uncomfortable with her doing particularly the work in the reconnaissance kind of world, trying to work out what's going on.
Sure.
So we kind of moved to helping people who have exited the life, and that was a safer place to be. So we did various things there, and then ultimately I went on the board of that organization that she was working with, and immediately had to start doing something to help them out more than the work they were planning. So the next day I went out on LinkedIn and we created a group of people who just wanted to make a difference, professionals trying to help out.
Thank you for sharing that, man. I didn't know that your wife was doing some reconnaissance work, and has she ever spent time in law enforcement before? Kind of that's pretty brave.
She worked in LA and like the Hollywood world for about 10 years, and then we married and immediately had kids, and she became a mom, and that was her world. But when we said, what are we going to do when the kids are gone? That's a big question for someone who just spent their life with her kids. And the one gift she knew she had was she was a mom. And when she was doing that work, she was immediately not someone they would suspect of doing that work. So it just didn't look like the kind of person they're going to be worried about.
Wow.
And so,
being a mom is, that's one of the hardest jobs out there, right? Have that. It takes a special person, to do this kind of work, because just a little that you share with me, it's hard to listen to, right? It's hard to listen to. And that's why I had to do something about it with you, man, because it's like shame if you don't do something.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing that it's so here and we don't see it. But you got to understand, this is a $300 billion business, and their main work in this area is to not be seen. And they've done a really good job of hiding from people and making it look like it's something it's not. And so Yeah, that's the estimate around that. They used to have it smaller, but recent numbers, they're up at 300 billion. It's the second largest criminal activity in the world. It's very big and it's more organized than you would know.
It's scary to even think about what people are doing a lot of,
Okay.
for evil, in my opinion, right?
Yeah. Well, the trick for us is because people are scared of it. People don't like the story. I mean, if they can avoid it, they will. We worked that out early. We had a digital group, and they assessed the people putting out messages about trafficking, and
Okay.
they came back to us and said, well, if you look at the number of people who are fighting trafficking, it equals the number of people who see the content, meaning that the only people who see the content are the people already in the fight.
Wow.
So people swipe it. And that was our first and most important learning was there's something about this that is well designed and messaged through movies to make people think either it's not me or it's somewhere else. And it's definitely, something I don't want to see. It's an unpleasant thing. And so since it
Wow.
doesn't affect me and my family, then I'm gonna not pay attention. Which is why
Ignore it.
we came up with the name redM, because we wanted people to start to see this message. And so that became the big journey we had to go on, was how do you get society to wake up to something that they think doesn't affect them? And the messaging being so long and deep that people really believe that someone's out there saying, I think I want to be a prostitute. Like someone said that someday and got a job that they say pays well and they love it.
Wow.
There are people probably who do that, but the majority, got to believe, are not there. I mean, I see a lot of people come out of this. And so you're dealing with an issue that people don't understand. And so how do you get their attention? And that's our whole movement, is how do you get society to understand what's happening? And so that means
Correct.
we're pretty light in our messaging on purpose. We don't go down the rabbit hole too deep. I do have a podcast that does that on purpose, that lets people, if you want to learn, here's a journey for you. But generally our messaging is here's the world, here's trafficking in the world and what happens, which kind of tells you America is primarily sex trafficking based on the information we have.
Mm.
And most people are like, well, that's interesting because we know labor trafficking is happening here too. So how is that?
That's
And they think, well, maybe it's in some cities. And so I use a map of all the calls that go in. So there's a hotline that most people don't know the number.
Mm.
And it's a complex number. So, you have to really be in to be carrying that and know to call if you see something. But
Okay.
their map of the US has, that shows the intensity of trafficking. And it's it's basically a map of where people live. So
It's
everyone
kind
tries
of
to bring,
like a heat map
yeah,
of
yeah,
the
yeah.
different.
We show that. And then we have a group called Dark Watch that are in Florida. They do,
Okay.
they basically scrub the web for reviews. So believe it or not, people are writing reviews from buying sex. And
Wow.
that builds a map of where usually the main things that you find are massage businesses that are operating as brothels. And it's
Okay.
not that all massage businesses are brothels. It's just that's a mechanism that they use. And you can tell in your neighborhood. So we show people that. We show them, here's a bunch of red dots in your city. And what they notice is it's where I live. The first thing they're like, weird, that's where I live. So yeah, so I mean, it's just one place where trafficking can happen is in these massage businesses.
Wow.
But we've seen a huge growth in the population of Americans trafficked, kids usually, not kids to start with. And then so we kind of take them to that. Why is it relevant to you? And we'll go through the ages of engagement. The boys right now, the age of initial engagement is around 8 years old.
Aye.
Girls is 12 to 14. And everyone's like, well, hold on, boys. We haven't even thought about boys. And
That's what.
we're sure it's deeper. Like we think it's deeper, but boys aren't talkers, which is a challenge. And gaming systems are the prime thing we see the most of.
Oh goodness.
And they'll start the relationship at those ages, but they will invest over years. Sometimes it's months, sometimes it's years before any trafficking happens. And even before that, even if they're engaging with them online, that's not trafficking. It's only when they profit off of a child. But it is wrong. So there's laws, I know Texas laws we worked on so that grooming can be identified. And so they'll spend time. And so I just had a father the other day. His daughter was 19, just came out of college.
Okay.
First year of college, and she had attempted suicide, and he had got her phone while she was in a care center, and saw all these messages coming from these guys who she games with, so he knew of them,
Okay.
And I had to walk him through it. Like, this is trafficking. This isn't what you think. It isn't friends. He go, well, it's been going on a long time. She's known these people. And I said, well, these people might be a person, just so you know. This is not three men. This is probably one. And they're working her in a way that is normal that we see all the time. And so they take kids through a journey. And we have to teach parents how to engage when this is happening, because if you do what's natural to you, which is get upset and try and point out how wrong the person is,
Yeah.
and they've been grooming them so that causes them to separate from parents. So they've been expecting this day when you work out what's going on, and they've been brainwashing them that they care more about you than your parents do and your friends do, and so they go through a process of separation.
That's scary.
So, yeah,
I mean,
and so that's
manipulation. That's sophisticated manipulation. This is
it
like
is. Well, and why
CIA.
but if you think about it, why they do it, I mean, this just the method of cults. They'll keep them up all night. It's just a way to, you exhaust people and then you make them feel like you're the answer. So they think they're in love or they have a best friend, but they'll be up and up and up and up so they don't sleep. So sleep deprivation is a cult technique to manage and manipulate people.
I didn't even realize that. But
Yeah.
they tweak them out.
Yeah, you see kids up with their phone at night and they're talking to them all the time, and it's just a method to mush their brains so they can manipulate. So they'll take them down that road. And then when something happens, it's just like in a cult when it gets weird. They're committed and there's no way back in their mind. They've already burned the bridges with the family. They've emotionally separated. And this person who's been love bombing them suddenly something weird happens. And they have different ways of making them think of it. And then they start them down the trafficking road. I mean, this suicide's a very common thing you'll see when you see kids. I know you've been hearing this lately. Kids, they're having more issues emotionally than they used to have. And then you hear suicide happening with kids where there was nothing appeared wrong. Usually that's a grooming process that they've pressed them so hard that they're not going to do it. And so they choose suicide. Or they have a guilt thing they're carrying from all of that, and they're threatening them, and the threats they believe are about to happen to expose them. This dad had got pictures sent to say that, look, I'm a good friend of your daughter's. I have these pictures. That he didn't send rude pictures, he just sent pictures to show. And I said, there are other pictures, I promise you.
Wow. So pictures of them together as acting as friends?
No, just pictures she had sent him. The dad actually was onto it before this attempted suicide. So he had taken her to New York where she thought this person lived, to the address, to point out that this is not, because he'd already tracked the phone to Mexico. And he was like, this isn't right. So he was trying to get her back. But of course, when we try without education to get our kids back in those situations, it doesn't work because they have cleverly designed it that your normal behavior will cause them to not go back to you or not trust you or.
Oh my goodness. So so quick question on this. Like, I mean, how, if a novice in this and just learning about this stuff and just, it sounds like education, redM is trying to solve this or, fight this through education. What are some basics like parents can do to kind of be proactive?
Well, if anyone I know whose kid had some kind of grooming happen, they wake up stronger than the regular parent. A regular parent, if we're saying you're hearing this, and if I said their phones are not their phones, they're your phones that they are using, now that's a problem depending on the age of the kid, because all their friends have full autonomy on their phones. But anybody who's had this happen to their kid goes straight to, I will see everything that happens on your phone. And so there's software for that. Bark is the one I know of, but there's probably others. But they can still get around that system, but it is a methodology to at least, try and protect.
At least see it. To try.
We had one parent. So when we explain the grooming process is usually when we get someone to reach out, and we have a great private investigator who's helped us. Okay. Even when kids are missing. So we've had about 34 cases now just in our community here in Houston.
In just Houston alone?
Yeah. We've had 13 cases outside of that are executives whose kids have been taken. So everyone thinks it's just people who are, in a poor environment. It's anyone with a vulnerability, and a teenager and a child is vulnerable anyway.
Doesn't matter the upbringing, doesn't matter the class or perceived class.
And we put them, parents will say, I wanted them to be on the internet because I want them to see the world. But really what they're doing is inviting the world to see your kid. And we would never put our kids in the darkest parts of town.
Never.
And that's what you're doing when you're opening up the internet to your kid, is all the predators out there have access now, and they are skilled. They've done this 1,000 times. And now your kid who's not ready and you who's not ready, and just open your door to something that we've managed to keep out of our homes for many years. And now it's in our homes. We had this one kid. Her parents were youth pastors, and they had her. She was 16, and they thought there's no way she could be being groomed. But when we described the behaviors, they said it sure looks like it. Can you send in your expert to come sit with her? She did, and she came out and she goes, yeah, she's being groomed. They're like, how? She's homeschooled. She doesn't have internet access. She doesn't have any social media. There's nothing that they couldn't get to her. How? She said, well, it's through mom's Bible app. It has a chat feature.
Oh, my goodness.
So the kid's like, can I use your Bible app? Sure.
So it's literally anywhere with...
They find a way. Even if you keep them off phones, then their friends will have phones. And so there's deterrence, but the relationship is really important to be watching them, to understand where they're at, learn how to speak to them. There's some really great materials online. There's an organization called A21. If you go to A21.org, they have education for all ages, because there's things you have to teach kids, which is, what a secret really looks like, or a surprise compared to a secret. And the idea that, there's things that are just not okay, and you need to be uncomfortable and you need to call it, even if it's an adult. And this is what predators are. I mean, I was doing a training video, and I never released it, but it was on grooming. And at the end, I just felt really uncomfortable. And there was a couple of things going on. One, I was a male, and it looked like I was training people how to groom, because I'm explaining grooming, but I was like, wow, this almost could be used against me.
Wow.
Stop that. But then I realized there's something deeper in me, and that I was groomed as a kid. And so what was happening was I was remembering those conversations as I'm describing what people say. I was like, man, this happened to me. Now I got away. Another kid did not. And 2 years later, the police came to our house, and I was brought up in a loving family with everything was good. My parents were like, how did you not tell us? And I said, well, he told me not to.
Goodness.
And
you didn't even...
You don't think about it. Well, and you built a relationship. So it's not a stranger danger. It's 85% of trafficking is someone you know.
Someone you know.
Yeah, someone member, sometimes someone who you know because they built a relationship with you. But they will invest, because the value for these big cartels and mobs is that a single person that they can traffic, will earn them $200,000 to $300,000 a year, and keep paying that money over and over and over. So it's worth the investment.
Oh, goodness. So I could see, wow, from a just
business. That's the thing. I think if they sold drugs before, or they sold guns, it was a one-time sale.
That's right.
And then what they've learned is if they grab someone, which almost never happens now, that's complicated. You gotta hold them down. So that's how people think it is. But they get the person to come to them. They build a relationship. They think they're in love. They think they have a friendship. They use that mechanism. So the person who's being trafficked doesn't know they're trafficked. They think they've suddenly had this life choice. I'm a sex worker. It's just that I've got so many times I've watched kids on the journey, and then after the journey, when they're exposed, it's a long journey back, because psychologically they believe these things happen to them. They believe they chose it. And that's very purposeful in the design of the traffickers.
And typically, I have just a couple of questions. At first, thank you for sharing these resources. I wrote down some notes. We'll make sure we have them in the show notes. Because I think just like I'm learning here on live, right? Education is got to be key. And awareness.
And once, like I said, to people who aren't ready to hear it. That's how do we give bite size? Because usually what you just heard is all we say, and then we're out. Most people in this space take you into the dark corners. You don't want to go in the dark corners. It's too much. Stomach can't take it. And we've learned that a lot of people have had sexual violation in their life if they haven't been trafficked. Sometimes people you're talking to will go, I think I was trafficked. That happens fairly
rarely. They don't even know. They don't even realize it.
They don't talk. We had an older lady, an executive, come up to me, and she's probably 60. And after we were talking, and she said, I need to let you know, you're the second person I've ever told, but I was trafficked as a child. And I'm like, the second person? I'm like, who did you tell? Who's the first person? My sister, who was also trafficked, but I've never talked to her.
And she's an executive today?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's one of the questions I was going to ask you. Like, as far as the numbers, like, I imagine that's not a normal thing. Like, they make it out where now they're full living a functional executive life and all that. small
More,
percentage compared to
more
the few.
percentage. Yeah. She was sold as a child. So it's familial, usually families actually selling children. That happens in
The
poverty
family,
usually.
their own family. Oh my
Family
goodness.
member, family
Wow.
member. I just did a podcast with someone who was child trafficked, but it happens. And so, it's weird. It's because you can't get your head around it. Like, how could that happen? How could someone? Sometimes drugs, but I've learned straight poverty can do it too. And
Poverty.
if someone has been violated themselves, they'll make decisions that they shouldn't. So
Even
yeah,
if the individual as a victim, if they've been violated, you would think that they would want to protect.
and some do and some don't. It's not a. I don't want to imply that that happens because of that, but that can
Sure.
happen as a result. Yeah, it's a very very complicated subject. I don't plan for everyone to understand it all.
Sure.
And the reason we talk to your kids is really important because generally people talk the big story, and there's a big story. There's lots to know. But if I don't have you understand it's kids you're not starting this journey
Oh my
because
God.
it's just another charity. I got all these, I got homelessness, I got, whatever I'm concerned about, you're going to rank them and say, I'm going to do something about this.
Of
But when I
course.
tell you it could be your child, your niece, your grandchild, when I talk to executives, it's funny because we say we don't need money because we don't need money. So our whole model is, I don't want to be a charity. Now we do produce money. That's another story.
Yeah.
It took me a while to train everyone. Like, we're not here for the money. So you meet a corporation, or I met an executive once, and they have their fob off where they give to charities in a way that don't waste my time because people ask me all the time.
Mm.
And so this guy gave me his usual, like, hey, we have a golf tournament and we give out $1 million. I was like, oh, yeah, no, I already received some of that money. Thank you. But that's
Okay.
not what I want. And the guy goes, well, what do you want? I said, what I want is your grandkids not to be trafficked. And he was like, well, I want that too. I said, good, we're aligned. Then I'd also like your employees' kids not to be trafficked.
Yes.
And what we've learned when we do a care package build, I'll explain that later, but when we do that and we explain trafficking in a group of 30, usually at least one person's kid is being groomed in a group of 30 in a business.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, and most of them go, wait a minute, what you're describing is my kid right now. Like, we're going through this.
Oh, and there's some of them that know if they even mention it, but they can keep it quiet.
They all think it's not. They think it's not trafficking. Everyone thinks it's not trafficking because it's designed to look like a troubled kid or having, they're sending them to psychiatrists and psychologists, and they seem to just be really heavy, but they're being separated. And even though that process is being used against them, because the traffickers, like, they think you're crazy, you're not crazy. They think you're immature, you're not immature. You're so mature. Like, I think you could be a TikTok star. What? How did you know? Well, because you posted it already. They have all this information that gives someone the experience of being loved.
So they're building confidence in them. They're building what they may not be
Big time.
receiving, right?
Big time. And parents are trying to stop foolishness. And so at those ages, and then if they get them young enough, they don't get life experience. So they don't learn how to live. So as they're older and they start to be trafficked, they'll get them arrested if they can. They'll pick them up the next day, and now they have a record. They can't get a job.
No.
Most places. So now their career's shot. They have no life skills. Their record's ruined, or they can't rent a place. There's no way to live except through.
Oh my God.
Well, they believe they burned every bridge and there's no options. And so when we do care packages, we actually have people write notes to the people, like, this is going to someone who we believe is being trafficked. And they'll be like, well, how do you know if they're being trafficked? I said, well, this is a care package of really simple items. If they were getting the money for the sex work that they were doing, they wouldn't care for this package, but they take it. It's really basic hygiene products, but they need it because they live on the poverty line. And then they write a message to them to encourage them. And the really important thing is they've been told by their trafficker for years, nobody cares about you. I'm the only one, and everyone else hates you. In fact, the rest of the world, you don't fit. You fit with this. This is where you belong.
Jesus.
And so that's a journey that you have to start to undo over time.
You mentioned that, like, that's got to be difficult to unwind that, right? That manipulation, because the training to be against you, right?
It's a growing skill that people are getting better at. So there's a number of care facilities that are developing, but no, it's now you're dealing with, I'm going to undo cult-like brain trouble where your whole identity is lost. And now I'm going to also deal with multiple traumas where every sexual act works like a rape in your brain because it was a rape.
Oh, Lord. So you mentioned something there, like, this is a really, obviously it's a massive issue. And let's say you're trying to help this victim that went through this, has to be really private.
Yeah, very much.
There's care facilities
It's
that
funny
can
because
help you go walk you through that journey and make you get better, help you.
yeah, and we've had to learn. I mean, people have learned, but you think the right thing to do because the first thing, why did this happen to me? And the first thing people say is, well, maybe you did it so you can help others, which is actually terrible because then they put them on film and they're telling. So real stories really work, but real stories for the person means you are now publicly someone who's been trafficked for the rest of your life. And that means you're going to live with that identity. There's a lady who works in getting care packages to strip clubs, and I'd met her years ago, and she said, "You said something to me early to change my life." And I was like, "Really?" Like, I didn't remember. And she goes, "When I first met you, I was starting to tell you my story and you told me to stop, then that it wasn't necessary for you to know the story of something that happened to you that is not who you are." And so she, because you're reinforcing that this happened to you and it's your identity and it's not you want them to have freedom, to have the life that was stolen. So it is complicated. You don't, I mean, some of them choose that direction and they're going to just tell their story for the rest of their life and that's what they're going to do.
Okay.
But it's an easy thing to draw them into that path when, I mean, there's a lot of good people I know who have been trafficked. People couldn't tell. They got recovered. They're doing fine. They have a life of their own and they don't bring it up.
And they have a shell, just you cannot penetrate it. That's the way they manage and they dealt with it.
They get help all the time. There isn't, it doesn't go away when it's happened. I mean, that's why I'm very passionate about the catching kids before it happens, because one day with that is a lifetime in your head. It doesn't leave. Those experiences don't go away. So I'll do everything I can to get the message to kids before it happens.
And to kind of circle back to a little bit what you mentioned earlier. So your wife that started this, right, with you, what was like the trigger? Like, empty nesters, right? You're getting the empty nesters.
We were just rolling up to that. And I honestly, that was my goal, was I wanted her to imagine, I'm Scottish, so maybe this is true, right? But I think of kids as 18, 19, out you go, go and fly. And I could tell that we weren't in agreement on that. She was definitely thinking, great, they could stay here for years. And I was happening around my kids. And so I just was throwing the idea out, hoping that she could imagine a future life where it was just us.
Okay.
And so she went to a conference in Dallas and saw a lady called Christine Kane speak, who A21 is her organization. And
A21.
She just felt like, this is my life purpose. And so she came back and said, this is my life purpose. And I was like, that's great for you.
For you.
So we flew to Greece, believe it or not, thinking that was where the shelter was, where the lady worked. And they said, you would have to live here if you want to do this work. And so she was in tears. She couldn't believe it because she was thinking this was all purpose and it was all meant to be. We came home from that trip, and that weekend there was an op-ed done by someone who's become our closest friend, who rescued a 14-year-old. And that's when we learned it's here. Like, it's here. And we didn't know how big it was at first. We thought 1 or 2 is great. We can make a difference. We can help. But we didn't know. I mean, the governor's estimate for Texas is 79,000 children sex trafficked in this state.
In Texas alone?
Yeah. Sex trafficked, not just labor trafficked. I mean, that's the Texan stadium full of kids and some.
It's like, and as you said, it's not like where you see these movies where it's like, public kidnappings. It's way more.
That makes the press. And then it's not all border. I mean, everyone loves to get into that. But I mean, if 85% of the rescues are American, so that tells you that this is the big farm, is here.
The U.S. is the big farm.
It's the easiest. I mean, for the U.S., I mean, there's trafficking problems in every country, every state, every city. But
David, are they taking from the U.S. to other countries, or are they keeping within the U.S.?
So yeah, it's a good question, because people confuse trafficking with smuggling, because the word trafficking sounds like moving. It's got nothing to do with moving of anybody. It's only to do. It's just the wrong term, and we've all become comfortable with it. So it's nothing to do with smuggling or moving of people. So it just means you're selling someone through force, fraud, or coercion. Those are the three tests to go do something for you at a low cost or for nothing. So yeah, it takes a bit to explain to someone that they didn't get the money. You know what I mean? They've been around the money and they had a boyfriend, and it's a very complex unwinding. But it's amazing what can be done to a human mind, to really believe. And they're very adamant at first that wasn't trafficking. This was this was something I was involved in. I chose it. I had a boyfriend. I had a friend
The
who,
defense mechanism come up, right? And
yeah,
then
it's just human. It's human. And you see all types, all different forms of education, all kind of backgrounds. Now, there are areas that are particularly targeted, but I
okay,
don't talk about that because I need people to really start the journey. And so
sure.
that's considered, I'm often offensive to people who are working in the space because they're constantly trying to give everyone all the information. I'm trying to only give enough information, and people can learn the other stuff over
I could
time. But
understand that.
it's
I could
trying to be
understand it.
successful. I mean, we've learned that the journey to telling people the story, when you're used to hearing the stories, you will roll them out all the time, like you've heard me do a little bit.
Hmm.
But people can't cope with that. They don't want to be your friend because, and it's not
Sure.
they're not being mean. It's just like, it's like
They
someone
just can't
who's,
deal with it. They can't.
yeah, if you're doing surgery all day and then you try and explain and show pictures of surgery, like you're, people chose not to do that, right? People don't want to
Yeah,
see it.
it's true.
They don't want
That's
to see
true.
blood and guts. They don't want to see people dying on a table. I mean, they don't mind watching it in a show every now and again. But so people who are helping people recover will tell stories and passionately because it's a passionate subject. So
It is.
I've had to learn to calm it down and make it so that it's consumable at a very simple level across society. And so that's
Oh,
why I start with your kids. It makes sense.
that's yeah. No. Let me ask you, what would you say that the best way for somebody to contribute to help? Because I know that one thing when I first met you, you said it wasn't about money. It was more just like our context, our resources, and awareness. I mean, what is something like basics that we can do to help, with the cause?
I think you start a journey, and there's that we kind of designed it that way. Whereas there's a lot of light things you can do. You can
Okay.
take a redM cup and you can take a picture of it on a Monday, wherever you are, hashtag Red Monday, and we do that.
On Windows.
And that seems simple, but what happens is in your feed, everyone sees this every single Monday in some other place, and they're more interested in this. Is they don't know what that is, but where
Yep.
are you? Why are you taking this cup? And they see it, and they see it, and they see it, and eventually they'll say, "What is with the red thing? What is that?"
That's right.
And they'll take the time, some of them, to ask the question, but what happens is they stop and look at it because it's just a cup wherever you are, and their feed starts to get things about trafficking, not deep, but the stuff that we're doing will get fed to them.
Okay.
And so that's a beginning point, is people can get something and start to message lightly. You don't have to know anything to do that. Just say, I'm against human trafficking, and that's
Sure.
that. We actually don't say sex trafficking because it tends to still turn people off. So we'll
Yeah.
talk human trafficking, and we are interested in human trafficking. Sex trafficking just happens to be the easiest one to get people's attention with. There is plenty other trafficking going on, and those people find it really hard how much people, sensationalize sex trafficking because it's closer to people's hearts and easier for them to feel like this could be something, or it is violating. It's very clear.
Mm-hmm. So something that, like you mentioned there, like, I guess, do people initially, they get a little worried because they fear that they might bring that attention towards them or,
Yeah. And some, honestly, for men, there's a lot of complicit stuff where people are like, I don't know if I want to talk about this. I had one guy very early said, I have the cup, but I don't want to put it up there because I've been places that I don't want to, someone's going to call me out on it. And I said, well, maybe, but I mean, you now know different. So, that's
people
that's
have
like
changed.
I live in a non-judgmental environment because
Mhm.
I'm a businessman who travels. So
Sure.
every hotel you go to, there is a prostitute there or someone being prostituted. I had to change my learning because most people are being prostituted.
Wow. That's when you mention stuff like that, you would think Vegas, right? Or something
Oh,
like
but every hotel, they know it. They're in court every day about it right now because the lawyer is going to go after who? A trafficker? No, a lawyer is going to go after someone who's complicit, and hotels are
um,
doing their best. It's law here that people get trained. I was asking, I almost said a brand there, but I was asking one of the hotels, what do you measure? And they said, well, we've had 250,000 employees watch the training videos. I'm like, good. How many times do you get calls?
mhm.
I don't know. I'm like, then you're measuring the wrong thing. Because we had this with Houston airports. They were using Lead Campaign, and it's a great kind of poster and messaging thing. They all get trained.
Okay.
And they came to me and said, we're thinking about taking the posters down because we got no calls, which must mean there's no trafficking. And I was like, oh no.
No, no, no.
Let me build something for your employees. So I took a company whose marketing department. I said, hey, will you help me build a museum for employees at the airport. So we built this pop-up museum to help humanize the children, like it could be your child, and tell stories. The most powerful thing, that we had about 400 employees came to the first training. And we had these leather chairs you sit on at the airport that have the metal between them. They're uncomfortable.
Okay,
You know those.
Not the massage? Or are you talking about?
No, just the uncomfortable leather ones. The normal seats, you're waiting for a plane. There's like, you know what I'm talking about. So we had a set of 5. We painted the middle one red, and we told a story of a 10-year-old trafficked through IEH. And before we started, this lady came up and she said, "Do you mind if I get a picture of you behind the chair?" And I went, "No, it's fine." And she took the picture and she said, "You know why I wanted it?" I went, "No." And she goes, "I was the 10-year-old.
Oh my goodness.
Because I've only told that story in a book that you're quoting, but I've never spoken about it." And I was like, "Do you want to speak today?" And she went, "Actually, here, yeah, I want to speak."
She was ready. She was ready.
She was there for her job. She didn't expect to see her own story or be speaking. But she said, "I do have my unaccompanied minor pass and my ticket in my bag at all times." She stood up and blew their minds with something they would have thought was a safe day. And she didn't look like the person. She's a very strong woman. She's got her own TED now. Going to Kirkendall spells differently, but she did a TED talk on that. But
you did a TED talk as well.
Yeah,
so that's another level.
Well, there's a lot of really great speakers who over time have learned how to talk about it. But this is a few years ago. She wasn't really talking about it. Now she does. She's been fighting the law. She actually, in going after her trafficker, learned that she was too far beyond the statute of limitations.
Good. Is there actually limitations for as well?
Well, not anymore. So she went back and changed the law. So that's what she does. She's fighting. She actually works for the DA's office in Fort Bend County now.
Let me write that. So she's part of the DEA?
Yeah, DA, the DA's office, the district.
Oh, the DA office. My sister's DEA. Yeah.
Anyway, so she got up that day, and that changed the numbers at the airport. They don't like to put out the numbers. It's funny. I was at an event where they were applauding Houston for their engagement in fighting trafficking, and I'm like, that was us. Like that, we were a part of changing that culture, and really Rhonda getting up and speaking. So we've had her talk at other airports. Anyway,
you like being like, but your organization is the way you look at it. You like to be behind the scenes. Like you don't want.
Yeah, we're not trying to draw attention to us. We're trying to get people aware. But what we do is we basically take business people or anybody, and we say, what do you love? What do you want to do? And what can we do with that? So like I say, the cup is easy, but I mean, we've had all sorts. We had a lady, we started doing Nights to Remember here, which is we started creating an event to celebrate culture. So we did Spanish night with flamenco dancing, Mexican night. We've got a Mexican night coming up, and it's got that wrestling.
You said wrestling?
With the masks.
Like lucha libre,
exactly. They're about to do that, and that's next month in Houston.
Rey Mysterio's gonna show up.
So we do like all sorts of things. Some companies run events just to generate money. Even though we generate money, the goal is to really engage people. And so we do things that don't say trafficking on them, and then people come and we tell them a little bit about trafficking in the middle of it and let them start the journey. Action Speaks last summer, we were just like, summer's always quiet in the events world. And so we thought, what can we do that's easy for companies? And so we had companies, we give them an Amazon list of hygiene products. And then within a week, we can go to, you order it, we turn up, you pack the bags, we tell the story, you write notes to people who are being trafficked, you become aware. In a week with $1,000, suddenly you've had an event without it costing you anything for a big corporation.
Can you send me that list of the products?
Yeah, we have a person. So I'm useless in everything because I just have thousands of people who do stuff.
Well, you're the marketing, a very unique background, marketing and IT. So you're hitting from like two weapons there.
Well, so there's a lady just as Action Speaks for Houston, and we just had one company do it in multiple cities. So we had a new problem. They're like, we have all these bags. What do we do with them? Like, okay, I'm going to find every city that you're in, and we'll find someone to take the bags. But we had Canada started up. I mean, we're in 10 cities already.
Can you share a little bit about that too? Because that blew my mind. So you started out of Houston, and how many cities across the U.S. now?
So we're in North America. We have 10 cities, adding Miami coming up, right?
That's right.
So basically, if I travel anywhere, I usually just say, I go on my LinkedIn, I find people from that city and say, you want to learn about redM, go to lunch. When I did it in Midland, they called back and said, we have 4 sponsors, but we're limited to 50 and we have 70 people want to come. And I was like,
Oh,
you guys
wow.
are ready.
From a LinkedIn, like,
yeah. Well, originally I was doing them. Now I just have a retired lady who sits on my LinkedIn and invites everybody from that city.
that's great.
Because I can't keep doing that. Like it was too much. But, I
No,
mean, you'll kind of know that.
David, you got your plate full. Like,
yeah, there's a lot. I find ways to get stuff done. I mean, I'm a part of a large corporation with a lot of people, so I'm used to getting stuff done with others. So I try and make it as easy as possible. So I'll go through all our cities. Let's see, we have the Bay Area, which was really 2 visits. It was San Francisco and Palo Alto, so they worked together. Let's keep going across. We need LA. We don't have LA yet.
You go to LA. Okay.
Not yet, but if you're in any city, just reach out. We're building a kit of how you start. And then, so anyway, let's keep going. Calgary in Alberta. Then we have Denver. We have Midland, Austin. We have Dallas and Fort Worth that are not the same.
No? What? There's a border there or something? Like what's They are 2 different personalities, I guess. And
yeah, that's what happened there. What else have we got? Who am I missing? Boston, we started. It has not taken off as well as we'd like, but Boston's on our list.
Boston?
Yeah.
Well, now you got a recruiter with some really good recruiter skills. We know how to.
We just need teams, and then we're working on how do you build the team. So the answer right now is everyone. We do have Europe, so we have London, Aberdeen, Paris, Rotterdam, Amsterdam, all starting. Yeah.
All starting now.
Yeah, just starting. Yeah. So we're in conversations and we're building people. But what it is, if someone travels somewhere or, wherever that is, that's how we start. But
David,
what we're doing.
Thing started in Scotland, the home motherland. Where are you from?
That's my homeland. Yeah. So I was home. So I just invited some people to a meeting. So yeah, what we're doing right now is the people who want to start chapters are coming to our, what we call chapter chats. Chapter chats. So basically everyone gets together and talks about what they're doing, and you can kind of learn from each other. And then we have a kit that we built out of what does it take to do it. I mean, generally we tell people in a city, find an organization that is just doing sex trafficking and support them, not doing fighting sex trafficking.
Wow.
Not doing it is really
no, the opposite.
Yeah, but the opposite. So once we found an organization to help, then you have something. If you fundraise, you can we give 75% of the profits to this organization. And so when they start, they'll give all of the profits. Just depends. When we started, we had 3 years in Houston where we didn't have a 501c3 and we would just give the money straight to an organization.
But now you have all that.
We're not generating tons of money. We are doing a lot of events. We did 90 events last year in Houston, 90.
90 event.
Yeah. That's a lot. Now, we didn't run all the events.
I
don't go to them all.
No?
No. We had a dinner. We had a dinner, and afterwards someone said, looks like there was 4 things on tonight. I'm like, cool.
Wow.
No, what? I went, well, let's look at the pictures. Is there someone we know there? Yeah. Okay. And it's okay. Because it's a very, redM kind of stands for Resource Empowered Develop Movement. And we just resource people with information. Then we empower them to do stuff and we help them develop. And it's pretty simple.
So resource,
empower and develop. So it becomes easy. It becomes the whole idea is make it as easy as possible for people to get involved.
Sure.
And we try and, you have to make sure that they're the right kind of people. You never know who you're dealing with. So you have to kind of make sure, because we have kind of a how it feels to be a part of redM and what we expect people to be like, because always kind, always positive. Like there's a lot of things we need. Definitely not political, definitely not religious. So if that's required for you, go somewhere else. That's cool. But we're not polarizing. We're purposely not polarizing. We need everyone involved. And that means people who are like you and people who are different than you.
No, this is the fight. So have you heard of the organization that I've been, working with, and I have a lot of respect for, His House? It's that orphanage.
I think I've heard you talk about it. Yeah.
And I feel like hopefully that's going to be a good, partnership that, can help each other with awareness and training. But some of the stories that I've heard there, it's very difficult to see
some of
12-year-old children.
Some of the South American fronts that are doing recovery from trafficking are orphanages.
Orphanages or fronts?
They're fronts. They're not really orphanages, but they're in the countries they're in. They're not allowed to say they're getting kids out of trafficking. So they call themselves, and I won't say names, but
Sure.
they're operating in countries that you couldn't have a place to stop trafficking. It's I think you find orphanages, foster care, any kind of foster care, and all these are places, any kind of hospital, any kind of pregnancy centers, whatever they are, they're all homelessness. They're going to see prison. They're going to see trafficking in all of these places because of vulnerability.
Oh, Lord.
And it tackles vulnerability. And
That's, I mean, it's just mind boggling. Well, I mean, how proud of you are of your wife?
it's great. I was not planning on knowing any of this stuff. She definitely took me down a road, and it took me a long time to work it out. A few years ago in a podcast, someone asked me, you think this was what you were always meant to do? I'm like, no, I just have a day job and I do lots of things with lots of people, and I'm used to dealing with large organizations. So a problem, started fixing it. Well, that changed after that. I started to realize this is a big deal. Like we're going to do a lot of stuff. So we're starting to work with the World Cup. We're working on an ad campaign. So things are really rolling and growing. And we're trying to just let it be as viral as possible.
Sure.
Some guide rails. But I am very proud of my wife and what she's brought to my life through this.
She's a special person. I mean, I'm looking forward to learning more and actually meeting her. She's, picked something that just, I think things like this find you.
Yeah. She felt that way. And I really was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
no,
I was not expecting this subject.
You at first, like in defense mode first, right? Like, wait a second.
I just was very much, it's you. And then I found out how dangerous it was. And I went, no, it's not. This can't be you the way you're doing it. It has to be. Mm-hmm. So when I learned that the safest place to be, it's safer to not be recovering kids, like going to get kids. And it's better for them to choose to leave. So the weird thing is they live free. And if you can convince them to come away, then the traffickers don't chase because they've put their work in and they have percentages on their side. If you rescued everyone today, not that rescue is the wrong word, because they come out of their own volition, and it's the wrong term. But if everyone got out today, most of them would go back, like 80% would go back.
80%.
Because of the brainwashing and the barriers. And when they come back into the normal life, they're like, I don't feel right here. I don't feel welcome here. I don't understand it. I understand that. And as horrible as it is, it's what they've known and been conditioned to.
And what is the age range for them to typically break free, or like, is it?
There isn't one. They come at all ages. There's not a lot of good young children help. Most of the states prefer the government system. So if there's people start doing under 18 homes, it's really hard to stay open. Most of them close. But you're going to know, even if you look at all the beds we have, you're better off being an animal in America than you are someone who's been trafficked. There's barely any beds anywhere.
Oh my God.
The numbers are, when you have a home, you've got a long line of people trying to get into it.
So it's not even having the resources of it. It's just hard. So if someone breaks out, what do they typically?
Well, they don't, and they don't know. Sometimes they have family members, and we have one organization that we help who just does care services. They're not a house. And people can start to pull their life together. It's just a journey. Even for them to, if you can get them to, I don't want, there's some stories I can't tell, but
yeah, please.
But if you can get someone to choose to be away, and you can cover that with a family member or anybody, but just get them separated from it and give them time and get them counseling and help online. There's groups that get together.
Okay.
There are services out there. There are things. It's not
well done.
And what happens to them as a result of all this, it's a complicated human being that comes out, and they're not the same person that went in, obviously. There's a lot of, I think the thing that surprised me the most early was we found that we were really comfortable with people who have been through this. And that was our, we know we can do this. We know we can be with them. And we would do movie nights and painting classes and all sorts of stuff.
Oh, okay.
We were comfortable, but the one thing that you could be around people in your day who have been trafficked and you don't know it. And that's more common than you would know. And so it's learning to humanize, because what's happened is dehumanizing. And it's learning to just be loving with people, and not
be kind.
Yeah, and kind. And there's so much you can do and asking people in a gentle way, can we help you? Is there anything? If you can start to see people better around you, you're on the right journey. So I have a podcast called The Movement.
The movement?
Yes, The Movement. It's on Join redM on YouTube. But I think it was my third one. Is Kathy, who's a wonderful survivor
Okay.
and overcomer of this, but she does a great job of spelling out how to be better humans and how to be. If I was asking her a question that she answered in a way that when people are really skilled at this, you can learn a lot. So she really explains how to think and be to be useful for people who've been trafficked and have had that kind of trauma in their life, complex trauma.
Is she active within the organization to help train? And
she's on our board. She spends her life helping in this space, and she's actually been in People magazine twice, and she was in Vogue, I think, and she's like a spokesperson for many years for the movement. Her name's
redM, or she just
redM, but way before that.
Wait, okay.
I mean, she's one of the high skill people, I think, when we find people who've been trafficked and she gets near them. Like there's a way that they are, everyone we know in this space, that they know how to connect with someone who's been through this and build a bridge. Because there's things we would never understand. There's things that have happened in their life that we can't understand, but we can be accepting. We can make them. I remember early on, people were strange when they were around people who've been trafficked, and I was like, that's not helping. Like you feeling strange is not helping. And they're just like, I don't know how to talk or to relate. Well, they're just human beings. You can easily relate. They're just people. I was in one of the homes this week and just teaching this young lady how to play guitar. And we've spent ages just doing that, just being there, just being present.
Just being available.
Yeah.
So is this like it's a fun fact? So you have some guitar skills too?
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny.
I'm learning a little bit about I don't want to pronounce it wrong. Your favorite Scotch distillery in Scotland. I don't want to say it wrong.
You want me to say it? Tobermory.
I would have struggled, to be honest with you. And guitar skills.
What's that?
And guitar skills.
My whole family are musical, so I'm the one who doesn't write music. My wife, my daughter, my son can all write and perform.
Really? Wow. And your kids are all out of school? They're all college?
Yeah, they're in their 30s, yeah. My son, the DJ, and my daughter teaches kids how to...
Nice. Any grandkids coming up? I'm actually, look, I'm a little younger.
I would like that to happen, but I don't put pressure on there.
Yeah, it'll happen when it happens.
They can do what they can do. I definitely adopted a grandchild recently.
Did you really? God bless you.
Who's a friend, and I'm just like, just being there,
You're getting to know you. You're a good man, good soul, great soul. I mean, that's what you're doing. I mean, keep on, like,
you know what? Here's the thing. Everyone's got something in this movement. Everyone's got something in their pockets that's just normal to them. And for me, I just happen to be good at growing things in large organizations. So what do? I grow a large organization, and I do it while doing my day job, which is 2 C-suite jobs. But I'm
about that too. I was like,
they're out the door. So my personal life is all redM, and my challenge, as always, is to be well and healthy and rest and make sure I do that.
You're definitely. I'm happy that your redM has grown. You're getting the support, and I'm looking forward to supporting you where we can in Miami.
It's gonna be so much fun. You're gonna love it, and it's the people that makes it great. Because people turn up with all sorts of skills, but they're just nice people doing good things. And ultimately, you can be upset about bad people in the world, but there are more good people.
That's good.
When we get together, just see what happens.
Well, Gail is, let me tell you, she's a great, a representative ambassador. How do you not like her? She's awesome.
I'm telling you,
one of the nicest people I've met.
You should come to one of the chapter chats and just meet the leaders of all the cities. They're just all good people.
Well, let me ask you, when is your next one in Houston? Because I'm often in Houston a lot.
Oh, are you? We have things coming up. I think I posted it on my LinkedIn today. By the way, if anyone wants to follow me on LinkedIn, I have no shame.
I appreciate it.
I'm all about it. But let me see. I bet you if I look at it, I can shortcut this conversation and get to the answer. Where are you?
Houston.
We do a lot. We did a lot all over this last month, but right.
And then I gotta pivot just a couple questions because I'm curious about this. So it's hard enough to have one C-suite job, right?
Yes.
And then, I haven't heard that one before as far as CMO, And it's probably not, I'm not just,
You said earlier IT, I don't touch IT.
you don't touch IT.
I invent technology. So we have a lot of companies and I find either access technology or develop it.
Okay.
My data scientists work for me and just do tons of AI. I'm a little AI obsessed lately, of course, but
You got a cool job. You got a cool job.
it's a cool job, but it's fun, like, and just doing what I love doing. So it's not work to me. I love my marketing team, but I grew them over years. I didn't grow them. Sorry, that was a ridiculous thing to say. I created an environment for them to grow.
It's,
Just, you don't grow anybody. That's ridiculous. That's like human trafficking.
no,
I created an environment for them to grow.
we created that environment. They created the opportunities and they took advantage, right?
Yeah, which is why it's same as what redM is. I create an environment for people to grow. It's the same. Because if I was making people grow, that would be work. But you don't make them grow. You just create environments where they can. You're trying to remove obstacles and help them to stay positive. I did my leadership review for redM at the end of last year, and I learned something about people's review and work. They were all terrified. Like, they came in nervous, and I'm like, I don't understand. Why are you so nervous? And they all said, well, when we do this at work, it's usually a correction. And I'm like, you mean people, like, that's ridiculous. People are doing reviews to correct people because they're so dysfunctional and not talking to you all the time. Like, the review is like, where do you want to be? What are you dreaming of? How do we help you get there? It's not, what are you doing wrong? Like, if something makes you sad, we can talk about it and make sure we do things that make us happy and
for sure
fulfilled lives. But it was interesting. But that's all about creating an environment for growth. That's our job, is to how can we help you enjoy everything you're doing? And so it makes it easy to do what I do. But I've been in the C-suite job for a while now, so I'm kind of comfortable with it. And they added technology, and I always liked technology, so I was still doing it, whether they liked it or not. My network of friends are all top executives in the technology space. So
they are. Okay. When coming up, let's say through school and college and everything, did you grow up the marketing route first?
No, I didn't. I was an architect.
All right. Now it's okay.
Sort of an architect. I was doing architecture is probably the right word. And I did it in California and in Scotland. And then it didn't work for me. Like, I was way too controlling, especially to be young and have people tell you your design's wrong. I was not okay at that. And then, just in desperation, we literally, like, my life fell apart, and I got fired from an architect's. And we were staying at my parents'. We'd come back from California. They kicked us out. We were homeless. We were sleeping on people's floors with a 6-month-old child. And,
really?
Yeah. Wow. And we did multiple homes. We just kept moving until, we weren't on the street ever, but we were living. And then we finally got government house. Pretty rough. And I did some temp jobs. I was just trying to survive. And then someone gave me a temp job for about a year, and then someone in this company offered me a job in a repair shop. And I'm like, sure. Like, I don't know anything about mechanical things. I'll come to your shop.
Failure.
So, yeah.
I have some leadership. I have some leadership questions. I have usually like some advice as far as paying forward. Let me ask you this, Dave. I did not know that you went that level of adversity before. I went through some similar hardships, but I tell you, those lessons are, I say I wouldn't trade them.
They're foundational.
But I'll tell you, another high five for your. So you were married with your wife and you had a child, right?
A Californian wife with 10 years working in Hollywood, then going to Scotland and living in government housing with 5 flights of stairs to our door. Spray paint on the walls, drug dealers, the whole thing.
She's a special person, my friend.
Well, that's when I came back to America. I was like richer or poorer going into it, but I learned that Americans are just like richer only. Because I came back and they were all like, "You stayed with him?" I'm like, "Well, isn't
you stayed with him?
Not how it works? Like marriage. If I got sick, would that be also a problem?
But
so we're bonded like. And it took us 10 years to even talk about it, honestly. But once we got through it, there's nothing can get between us.
That's great, man. I love that. That's phenomenal. So you guys, what would you say some of the lessons early on as, let's say, into the workforce? Like, what are some do's and don'ts you could maybe pass on this next generation?
I think the thing that helped me the most was finding great people who will invest and give me time. And they always will. And that's what I learned. There's people out there like me, and I do it all the time now, but that's because that's what happened to me. But people gave me time and gave me hard feedback and good feedback. Yeah. Not at first, I thought I was getting fired. when they told me what I was bad at, I was like, oh my goodness, this hurts. And they're like, everyone's good at that in this building and you're bad at it. And it was just like math and English. You think, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you
Did you
got me.
take that?
I was dyslexic as a kid. So I'm like, everyone was like, yeah, I'm bad at English and math. And I never did that well. But
Mm,
then they said, but you have something in your vision and how you can see the markets and the business and where it should go that
okay.
only two people in the company have. And one is a CEO and one's a president.
Interesting.
I didn't know what to do with that, and nor did I agree with it.
You're young. This is early on.
Yeah, it was really crazy to have. And so then I tried to make it happen, which was the worst. I had my worst 3 years, trying to make my way rather than knowing that your way is coming. Like you don't have to make anything happen.
Be
You just got
patient.
to be ready at all times and do your job. Like the job you have, do that, do it well. Opportunity comes. It's not your job to make opportunity or think about opportunity. It comes. So I'm a big believer that all the books lie, about career. They all say, this is how I did it. This is what I saw. And this, it's like, no, there's so much in the ecosystem of how we're experiencing life. So many other people influencing it.
That's
You
right.
you just gotta be aware that you gotta learn balance as fast as you can. And I mean balance is the wrong term, but learning about yourself is the hardest job in leadership. And if you
Learn about
don't
yourself.
do it, you might be successful, but you will be miserable if you don't learn about yourself. And you'll create misery.
You got to be honest with yourself.
Yeah, you gotta know. And you gotta be okay with yourself, which is crazy, but that's the hard work that nobody wants to do. That's all I do with my employees, with the leaders who work for me and the people underneath them.
Hmm.
Sit there, I spent an hour with it today, just with someone who works for me, and it's great investment because people can choose to just be who they think they are. Not, I always have I have 3 food groups that I talk about. It's kind of weird, but 3 food groups. So there's like steak, which I don't know if you're a vegetarian, then whatever that is, I don't know. But for me, it's steak. Love steak.
Okay.
Broccoli, my mother made me eat it. It's good for me, but I don't like it. Little trees, that's kind of weird. And then there's peanuts that you're allergic to. And so you got to know where you are. How much steak should I be having at this point in my career? How much broccoli have I got to eat? And then some things like for me, peanuts, like avoid at all costs because you will spend your life trying to fix peanuts, trying to
Mm,
learn how to eat something you're allergic to.
that's
When
it.
stop it, find someone who can do that and loves it.
That's
And so now you got to balance. So my team will say it all the time, and it freaks out HR people. They'll be like, "Do you think that's the broccoli or is it peanuts?" It's a common conversation.
CHRO is looking at you like, what the heck is this guy talking?
Actually, they're like, "What is this language you're using?" We're like, "Well, So I was thinking because this morning we were really fine tuning a leader who's extremely good, like really good at what she does. And so she did this 360 just to learn more. And it's very slight variance. But let's dig into that. Let's dig it. And then we went, okay, here's how you can think of this that's different. And she was just like, oh, this is great. And I said, and it's broccoli.
It's
Like
bro-
you can eat this. Like this isn't something that is actually in your system to never do. Like
Mm,
this is just a bit of eat your broccoli. You're going to be all right.
it's manageable. You can get through it.
Yeah.
It'll be good for you later.
Well, and if it was peanuts, I'd say you need a partner. You need a number 2 who's going to carry that because you're never going to do it, and that's cool. Like, don't feel bad about it.
No, and what do you feel about, see, on something like that? How do you feel with new workforce coming up as far as, let's say,
So funny.
patience?
I disagree with the new workforce stuff because I was new for. I'm sad that we have names for it. No one told me I was Gen X.
Not,
No one said that in my career. Now we're like having these.
not when I did.
And if you're going to group me with everybody, like I'm a human being.
Right.
But I mean, I have millennials who have never left, like who've been with me for 15 plus years. And that's not what millennials do. And then they want to know what's the secret. I'm like, it's nothing to do with millennials, the secret. It's human beings. Like, be better leaders. If you care more about them than the work they do, you understand the foundation of leadership, which is that we don't use people to get the job done. We use the job to help grow people. Like that's totally different thinking.
Can you say, use the
You
job?
don't use people. So people like, I have a task to do. Who's the best person to do it? No, I don't care who the best person is to do it. You got to care who would grow from this. Who needs this right now? And they might not be great at it to start with, but it is worth it in the long game. because your job is to create environments for people to grow. So you're not using people. And if they don't feel like you're using them, that you're actually on their side, they'll do anything for you. Now be careful. Now your number one problem is that they take a vacation because they're going to love their job, and then they're going to plow in and they're going to not deal with their number one teacher, which is home life. And if you don't let home life teach you and you start just working all the time, you're going to become a miserable human. So you got to make sure they balance it out. Get the home life you need, because there's some people who care about you, have some really tough information to share.
So
who you are, you know.
You got to have that balance and an exit, right?
It's all beautiful stuff. But if I worry about their home life, I can beat any company. No one's leaving our team. No one cares about people's home life. They don't care about how they're doing. They care about what they're doing, and they're just basically using people to get the job done. It's a useless model.
And you got some great perspective. Interesting. You got a lot of nuggets here. I'm just writing down notes. I love that approach. What about as far as how do you deal with, let's say some of the team members or someone coming up afraid to fail? How do you
to fail? Well, there's two kinds. There's horses and mules. You know, I mean, there's people who won't go where you need them to go, and there's people who think they're going to win the race because they're a horse and they just run off. Okay. So they don't want to be trained. They don't want to be trained. Nobody wants to be trained. So that's just the two kinds of humans you're dealing with.
Running everywhere.
Yeah. So either the horses just wouldn't, no, don't give me a jockey. Just send me. I'm getting by, you know, and off they go. And then it doesn't work and they don't know why. So you have to teach them. They're the harder one. People who are more mules, that's just building them up. It's easier. It's easier to tell someone who's, you know, you can easily see someone who has a mule-like behavior, like they don't want to go somewhere, to just talk and learn, and, you know, you can inspire them to do more. They're usually surprised when they lead, you know, but it's really about finding out who they made to be. Like what is the unique attribute of them that brings them joy, and it works for everybody.
Sure. So, that's a good one. What do you typically look for as far as like traits?
Oh, I don't. That's horrible. No, I don't look for traits. That's horrible. No, there's no, I mean, you need different kinds of people. When I meet people, I assume that they're going to have a surprise for me that they don't know. They don't know their superpower.
They don't.
We don't. We all cheapen our superpowers, right? So when someone else doesn't do it, you can find out what their superpower is, because when they start, they're criticizing everyone for what their superpower is. So they're out there saying, well, they can't do this. And well, hold on a minute. This is interesting. So this is who you are. Like, you have this gift to give everyone, and you think it's such a superpower that you think everyone should have it, and you think it's normal that you have it. It's not normal. No. So you have to teach them to just be better humans, be good at what you do, and don't feel good or bad about your powers.
No.
Because they're just the thing you have to offer, that everyone has something to offer. You're not better or worse than anyone else. Just do your thing and don't be distracted by others.
Do your job, right?
Just enjoy your superpower and learn to hone it, and stop doing the stuff that isn't your superpower. You know, just teaching people, you know, how to be happy at work, and it's life, you know. So it's not, I don't believe in work or home life. I think it's the same. You're the same person, I hope, both. So
what, let me ask you this, as far as, let's say someone entering in the C-suite for the first time, what kind of like advice would you give them? Like two nuggets would you give them? If you had to, almost like, what would you tell yourself?
So, well, I'm in a different kind of company, so I'm not sure what it's like. So I don't want to use my advice to what happened to me, because I'll tell you one thing though, and I think this is probably fair for everybody. In my first maybe 3 weeks, I did not like the environment or the people, which was a new challenge. I got there and it was gut wrenching the way people were. You know, when my first day in the office, like 3 IT guys turned up to plug in me in and give me help, and I was like, I don't think I'd ever seen one that ever came that fast. So I was like, wasn't a fan of it. I had an assistant who's like, do you want me to get your coffee or your guest a coffee? And I was like, give me a coffee machine, and never asked me that question again. Like, no, I don't want that.
And then built up.
But I was very different. I kicked out my desk because I realized I was going to talk to people for a living. I wasn't going to sit behind a desk working anymore. And they all thought I was weird because I turned my office into a Starbucks.
Okay.
Like record player, coffee machine, and started.
Record player, coffee machine. I love it.
But I had to learn. So the first 3 weeks, I was not sleeping well. I remember telling the CEO, he said, how's it going? I said, I am not sleeping well. And he goes, good, we don't pay you to sleep. And I was like, I had a fundamental difference to this guy. which was fine. We got on great. I just always disbelieved his methods, but he trusted me a lot, which was nice. So anyway, after the first 3 weeks, a friend asked me, "How you doing?" I stood behind him and kind of put my fists on his shoulders and pressed down as hard as I could and said, "This is how I feel.
Oh,
I feel thousands of people rely on me. If I do my job, they're going to have work. If I don't, they're not. Like I can feel that every day. I feel the people and the weight and it's not a good feeling, you know." And there's something that happened earlier that got me doing public speaking, where just learning that about my strengths and going, okay, wherever I go, the opportunities I get, I was prepared for this, even though I don't understand it. But here I am, they chose me. And so I started to answer the question when people said, "How are you doing?" differently. And I just said, I was made for this.
Mm.
And I didn't even know what that meant, but I started saying it.
Powerful.
And it's not just positive thinking. It's lining up that they gave you this job. They see something in you. I maybe don't see it. I maybe don't agree with it. But who I am and how I am is okay. Like it's what I was made for this moment. I'm made for this thing. And I stopped. I was reading like the first 90 days and all this other stuff, but that's a bunch of politics and nonsense. It was useless. It's just assuming that everyone's out to hurt you and you're going to try and show them how great you are. But what if you are great?
Mm-hmm.
Just you are great and you have a lot of value. And so I really came into my sensing the rightness of my leadership. Like, this is okay, you know. And I'd done when I was in counseling before, and this lady said to me, you know, it wasn't in the counseling, but she just said, you talk about speaking in public in two ways. And I was like, oh, really? What's that? And she goes, what's interesting, and one way you talk about it, you're ashamed almost that you're doing it. Really? And the other side, you're really proud that you do. And I was like, well, that's embarrassing, because that is exactly how I feel when I speak. It's a big tension between pride and shame. And she said, well, you know, you were just made to do that. So you're not better or worse than anybody. Just do the thing you're made to do and stop feeling anything about it. You shouldn't feel anything. Just do it. And unashamedly go in and say yes. And so from then I've done speaking all over the world, and I've learned that craft of how to have a giant crowd or a small crowd and do it. And so it was the same thing as just getting comfortable with, instead of when every opportunity comes, I'm made for this. Like, I can do this. And I was nothing like all the other C-suite. And when they measure me, I am still nothing like anyone else I work with.
No.
But I score very, very high, higher than everybody in my category.
Look at that. So amongst the big, so that's
outside firm just looking at us. We don't do our reviews internally, which I'm glad, because it's fraught with weirdness. So they do a whole deep dive on your psyche. And
really, so they get an outside firm, an objective opinion. That's pretty cool. Like, absolutely. I mean, is this how long has that practice been going on?
As long as my current CEO boss has been here. So we can't remember when, 2014, since 2014.
I mean, I haven't heard that one, and I like it. I mean,
it was good. It's really annoying for people who are very driven to do a 2-hour test with micro variants.
Oh, so are you were you like, there's a lot of IQ, you hear IQ, there's EQ.
Yeah. It was more, basically they said you should be in Silicon Valley. They're like, there's no way you should be here. And I know, but I started there and I don't like those people. I mean, I like my friends who are there, but they're the most unhappy people I know. And I really like this business. Yeah.
Is it pressure, is it something
cutthroat, like cutthroat? I mean, we're more farm-like here. There's a lot more straight talk, and it's very non-corporate, which I like. I have a theory that corporate behavior is inhuman behavior. And so you're pretending everything's okay for a living, and that's not good. And so we're trying to create human systems all the time.
It's not natural, right? It's like fake.
No, you don't. No one says, look at that corporate baby. It's really nice. You know, no baby is corporate because it's an anti-human behavior.
Oh, goodness.
So, and it's messy. And so I've talked with other corporations because they look at us and go, how do you make it work? And I'm like, well, how do you make it work? I mean, how they'll say, well, we buy companies and we let them naturally grow. We don't push them or we don't tell them what to do because we let them pull towards us. And then I go, well, how do you manage that? That's not sustainable. And I said, well, how do you manage your teenagers?
Yeah, that's
well, like I said, are they messy or are they perfect?
That's
well, of course they're messy, because humans are messy, and that's families are messy, and life is messy, and businesses are messy, and it's okay. So messy's okay.
Let me ask you, as far as what would you say, lessons learned? Like, what would you say one of the biggest lessons learned that impacted?
I think it took the longest time for me to not see people who are different than me as a threat. And even if they were or weren't, it didn't really matter.
That was the biggest one.
Took me time. I think the biggest impact, because those things, like, when you feel threatened, I mean, understanding my own limbic system has been a journey that definitely brought a lot more calm and fruitfulness in my life. Your energy is not wasted on things that are useless.
No. Yeah.
So I'm a hyper productive naturally, which plays out as a work addict if I don't take care of myself.
That's where it can start affecting your sleep and make impacts.
Yep.
Suffer for the same thing, my friend. So
your addiction of could be crack cocaine, my work behavior. So I have to, even when I say 2 C-suites and a third C-suite running a corporation of nonprofit,
you're a busy man. You're busy.
I get a lot done, but I've learned that I'm not in control, and that's a good place to be. So I work on my part in the world, and I do my part, and sometimes it doesn't work, and sometimes it does.
I love it.
My balance and health is really important.
Are you sleeping? I
would say that today something went away that was keeping me awake, but generally I measure my sleep every night, and I spent years. I got a trainer a few years back. Okay. And that's all I wanted to talk about was how much I slept.
Oh,
so I'm very good at it. So I'm. What's that?
You're talking about training, like in
weight training, and then he put me on Pilates, which I did for 2 years.
Okay, good.
Pilates teacher was like, "Do you love this?" And I went, "No, I hate it."
And
she said, "Well, why are you doing it?" I was like, "Well, it's good for me, but I don't like it."
An early riser, gym guy, or after work?
No, end of the day, de-stress. And it's not the best time, but it works for me. And I'll do like treadmill for half an hour. I'll do maybe 45 minutes, and then I'll do half an hour in the sauna. The beauty of no children.
That day. So the good thing about so I suffer, for a long time, insomnia. Horrible. Yeah. Horrible. And it's, you feel like a prisoner. Yeah. And something that's been helping me is the heat, like, the sauna steam. Yeah. But I also invested in a cold plunge. And let me tell you.
Isn't that amazing?
Oh,
well, I don't do it all the time, but I'm amazed how my body is cool with it. Like, it's okay.
It's when you get over the initial and you get used to it, you kind of dominate the day. Like, you really feel.
Not. But these are all just. That's why I loved having a good trainer. He was an older trainer. He was an MMA fighter.
Oh,
but was great for me, because he understood who I was. And that is funny because I kept, after a year, I think he said, "You are by far the best client I have. You never miss it." And I said, "Well, I'm paying you, and I'm Scottish, so those things will make me turn up every time." So because I wasn't enjoying the gym ever, I had the gym in my life, but I never liked it. So I moved to a habitual gym goer, which I do 4 times a week.
And it wasn't just the weight training. Did he actually do MMA type? Things with you, or just
honestly, he spent a lot of time on balance and motion. It was a lot of early days were frustrating because it's not. I would rather be doing weights, but he's like, you got to get it's the muscles in between the muscles that are your problem. You're gonna
smart man, core. You're
gonna have to
and your core
first. Yeah, that's why he put me on Pilates. Was core.
Sounds like you were having fun with that one.
I love it. I now go. I don't have a trainer anymore because I've worked it out, but. Once I knew I had that in myself, I go myself.
We got to get you. Is that something you're going to put back in your life?
What's that? No, I go all the time. I just don't have a trainer.
Do you feel like you still maintain the same level?
Totally. Yeah.
Oh, good for you, man. Good for you.
Yeah.
I love it. No training partners at all? Just by yourself?
No, totally. I need the space. I'm more introvert than extroverts. I don't even people can be waving at me in front of me at the gym. I don't even see them.
You're zoned in? You're locked?
Just gone.
The headphones and everything?
Headphones, but I do. I will do work while I'm there, but usually redM. It's a good balance. I get a lot there. It's so weird. Wow. I'm a weird
man. David, as we wrap up here, man.
What else? My relationship with my kids. You're getting it all.
No, man. It's just interesting background. Thank you for sharing everything. And that you did.
Life is short. I'm telling you, man. You got to love this life. You got to do some good things with it. And honestly, the big thing I learned with my title was I got this title for purpose. I need to use it.
There you go.
and I was just doing my
You got a
job and
platform.
so much more to do.
You have this platform, and I couldn't agree with you more. And we have to take advantage of, to affect people. That's why I started this podcast. It's really about pay it forward, to folks who affect. And anything that we can do there, it's a win for me. It's a win for us. So I really do appreciate you taking your time. I know you're a busy man, but I'm looking forward to September 25th.
Yeah, me too.
Can't wait. Me and my daughter, she's 100%. She's going to be doing the podcast too. I get it.
Right.
I'm blessed to have that opportunity to have them work with me,
I love it.
And behind this.
My kids, I bet a couple of years ago I started, work from home, which became a thing. Now I have a new WFCH and I have WFFH, which is work from Fiona's home, work from Chris's home. And I'll just sit beside them and work. I was doing coaching for them, and then they were like, they didn't want that. They just wanted me to be around. No. So I built it into my day. I'll do work right next to them. And we got to
they have their own places, and are they far from you? Are they far from you?
One is near my work and about 30 minutes from our house. And then my son is downtown, which can be 40 minutes.
In Houston traffic?
Yeah. Depends when we're seeing them. I mean, my son loves basketball. We go to the games all the time. We got courtside seats. So we've always got that connect. He was the DJ at the Texans last year, so I went to every Texans game and just hung out with him. No, he was the DJ for the Texans for 2 years.
Wow. So what do you
think? And I take him up to the. What's that?
What do you think about the quarterback they have? I like that kid, the young guy.
He's good, and it's ever since my son turned up. That's what I told him, but. He strides great, and I'm not a huge football guy, but because my son was there, like it's been my thing. He's a well-known DJ, so he works.
What's his DJ name?
His current is Saint Chris, SAYNT, but he's had a couple of other names along the way, which I won't go into. But he was a social media influencer, and then he worked for Floyd Mayweather, and that really got to other things. And so most people in the sports world know him. All the players know him, and he gets flown around. He runs a club here in town. Nope, but I got to be around right before the McGregor fight, so he was out in Vegas, and we would be there, and he had to go train every day as part of the money team. So they were all in the gym at 1:00. It was really great discipline for him.
That is phenomenal. I'm a massive boxing fan.
Really?
I'm like a historian.
When we're offline, I'll tell you some stories, but
for sure.
Save for the 25th.
Now I'm like, man, can you get here early? Can you come on the 23rd instead of 24th or whatever? But I'm looking forward. We got a lot to talk about, man. And I got to make sure that you get to become a baseball fan too. So
I started going to games. We have seats at the games, but I have friends who are baseball. Like one was a coach, and it's a thing. I'm getting there slowly.
Well, growing up in Scotland, what was the sport?
So football, big time. I still go back and watch games when I'm there.
Look at
Our
that.
team won a cup. In Europe, I do this thing where I'm at a conference, and they ask me to wrap the whole conference up, and they changed it to every day now. But I'll do a PowerPoint while I'm sitting there, and it's funny and engaging. But I always make football jokes because it's Europe, so I get okay. Well, my team won the cup last year, so I had a ton of fun with that as well.
What was your team?
Aberdeen. They're nothing, like the third biggest team in Scotland, but the other two, our main city, Glasgow, has half of the country in it, and they're both big teams.
I got it before I let you go because I'm looking at this stuff. But let me ask you this, because I had a really good friend of mine. He was a recruiter back in the day when I first started. In Scotland, grew up here. He told me that there was something like two teams. It was historian, like Rangers versus
Celtic. And Celtic. Yeah.
I can't believe I remembered that.
They're both they win everything.
Okay.
We haven't won a cup in 35 years, but no one else but them has won that cup.
Which team is better?
I'm not gonna. That's fighting talk where I come from.
Depends what neighborhood you walk into, right?
One of them is winning more than the other because one went bankrupt for a while, and it's a lot of contention. So Celtic is usually the bigger, has more cups, wins more things right now.
I heard that it's pretty intense, the games.
Well, it's violent, and I worked at our soccer stadium from 13 to 19, so it's violent.
Oh, so you got stories.
I was a big guy, so I had to collect the money and
So you okay?
I was safer because I was bigger.
What wasn't he like 6'3", 6'2"?
But I'm the short brother. So Scottish people are short, but I'm the short brother, and my older brother.
How tall are your brothers?
He was 6'6". He's now like almost my size, and my little brother's probably just about half an inch bigger. But we're really big for Scotland. We were a threat to all people. They had to threaten us for being tall. Like, what are you trying to do? So we were used to violence as part of our life.
That's interesting. So
soccer is very violent, and the sectarianism is a whole nother subject. If you have a team in Britain and they're from the same town, and there's two of them, one of them is an Irish team and one's a Scottish or a British team.
And these are battles. These are fights. These are
particularly Glasgow and those two, because they really hate each other. It comes out of Northern Ireland, and it's a long historic story. But yeah,
he was telling me that I guess this team's been playing for like 100 years. Like, it's crazy.
But there's the hatred level. I mean, the city of Glasgow is separated by which team you're with.
Really? So when we meet, I got a ton to talk to you about, man. So
yeah.
This is good.
Right.
Thank you, my friend. I can't thank you enough for this. And we'll send you the stuff, and you can make edits, whatever you want. Sure. But I want to make sure this gets pushed out there for redM. And you shared a ton. So I do appreciate it, David.
Of course.
You're a good man, and say my best to your family. And she's done great work. Really, I can't wait to share with my lady.
Yeah, that's good. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a lot of fun ahead.
I'm looking forward to it. So you're just here for a couple of days, though, right?
Couple of days, yeah. Okay. Just I'm off for the whole of September almost, because I'm back here for 2 events. So we have a Mexican night, the wrestling event, and then we have.
I almost want to just plan a trip just for that, man.
Come to the
what day is that, man? I gotta see that.
The 19th. It's also, so here's my post. We never finished this. Here's what's coming. I had it and I lost it. I'm going to do it again.
Lucha Libre.
It's so funny. I'm not going to be wrestling, which people keep asking me.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so here's what we've got coming. I'll tell you what we just did. We did Dell Technologies in Austin. We did Action Speaks Patterson in West Texas, Precision Drilling in Houston, Fulcrum in Denver. And then SPS has done Action Speaks campaign in Calgary, Quebec City, Toronto, New Jersey, Anderson, Kentucky, and Portland, Oregon. So that's a ton. Coming in Houston, we have an event on the 6th of September. 18th is a fashion show of September. The 19th is the Mexican Night to Remember. 25th is we do our networking night every month, and then the 26th is a gala. So yeah, I'll be running back from you guys. I'm just aiming for the 8th.
So where do you do this? Where do you do the Mexican event at? Where are you going to do this at?
I don't know. They have a stadium. They have something that they planned it now. I didn't even want to tell the Houston team, because I know they'd be like, no, too much risk. Like
insurance, right?
Yeah, we have the insurance. Funnily enough, we do have the insurance. But the Mexican consulate here, we did a Mexican night a year ago, and she loved it. And she's like, "Can you keep doing this for me?" And I said, "Sure." I mean, the team's all
that's good stuff.
Local.
That tour that you just gave me, those cities. I mean, this is just in the month of September?
Yeah, that was August. And we're coming into September. I'm going to be on vacation as well, but I'm going off to Europe.
Good for you, man.
I go in Edinburgh, Aberdeen, Manchester, London, Plymouth, London, and then Greece and my sister's farm for 2 weeks, for almost 2 weeks.
I mean, based on what you were telling me, and your plate's full, man, you deserve a little vacation, my friend.
I have to take them. I have to rest.
You got to balance, man. Do you take your own advice when you give to people about that?
Yeah, I'm trying. I have people who bug me. Like
they're telling me. That seems to care about you. They're looking out for you.
I need that, because you'll miss it.
Absolutely, man. This is good, and we got to get you to go to LATAM though, a couple times. Have you been
to where?
Anywhere in LATAM? Have you been like Caribbean and Central America,
Argentina, and Mexico? We're gonna have to do Mexico for the World Cup as well.
So I don't know if you know. I don't know if I shared with you, but I have offices in Colombia, Colombia, Honduras.
We have a lot of people want to do stuff in Colombia for redM.
For redM?
But I'm like, we're gonna have to think hard about how we do that.
Let's move slow.
You know why?
Lord, yes.
Different strategy for them here than here. So
and Mexico too. Mexico
too. I was amazed when the consulate started talking with me. I was like, "You're going to go out on this limb." Okay, I'm proud of you. So they like it. They're just trying to warn young women.
Of course. Do you have any representatives down there right now with anything, like as far as LATAM?
We have work everywhere. Yeah, we have offices everywhere. But
no, NOV. I'm talking
redM. No, we're just starting with Stop the Traffic in Mexico for the World Cup. Starting to talk to them.
Okay.
but no, nothing else other than the connection for Miami with Argentina. So HPE is taking on the sponsorship for your stadium.
Which one?
HPE, like HP Computers, but enterprise.
Okay.
And they just did what is the word? Forgot the word, but a representation of a full human kind of 3D thing, avatar. And they had this lady who did paintings about trafficking, and she's talking, and they're going to do it as a in case thing. And I said, great, but how do we do that with Messi? That's what I want to know. How do you get Messi in that box? And they're like, oh, that would be hard. And then they said, but we're about to sponsor the team's stadium. And I said, well, all you need now is an executive who's an Argentinian. You got any of those? And they're like, our CEO is Argentinian. I went,
no. There you go.
HPE, yeah. That's great. We have a lot of good. I love Argentina and Brazil. We do a ton of work in both. But
you do for NOV.
For NOV, yeah. We have. I used to have global operations, so I was always everywhere. Like I spent my life moving around.
You definitely probably have some level elite status somewhere going on with all this travel.
Yes. It's not. I can go most places for free, stay for free, and get a car for free.
By the way, did I ever? I don't know if you remember, but did I share with you? My wife's born and raised in Houston.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So she, moved here when she was, I don't know, maybe 20, 21, something like that. But she's from A-Leaf.
My goodness. Does she know who Toby Wigwe is?
Let me write that down.
Toby, okay. He's a rapper. He's a rapper from A-Leaf.
Oh, okay. How you say it? N-W what?
N-W-E. Toby Wigwe. Toby Wigwe is how you say it, but he's a Nigerian who grew up in A-Leaf, but does incredible raps about A-Leaf, which is kind of fun.
I will definitely ask her.
If she doesn't know him, she needs to. He's a really good friend of mine.
No shit. Is this old school stuff or is it new? Is he
new? It's new. And here's the weird thing. He's done all of his rapping and his everything with his wife and now his kids on the stage, and they never signed a label. So they've been on Fallon, they've been on, they've been everywhere. He just manages it so he can have his life with his family. And so he goes at the pace they need to and managed his career. But he's a cool guy.
So you like rap?
I do. I like old school mostly. Like when I was all Grandmaster Flash. In fact, I was,
What? Wait a second.
I was really, I love breakdance, and then that led into all that stuff. So
you said you love breakdance?
Yeah, I didn't breakdance, but I love the music of breakdance. So my son, when he's DJing now, I'm like, you know what that is? Like, no, he doesn't know.
No, so I'll give you a fun fact. I said this at Inspire. So I was on I was on the breakdance crew in New York.
Really?
New York for Busta Rhymes.
No, that's hilarious.
If you remember, he became, he was always Buster and he got on his own, but he was with Leaders of New School when his first, now it was just a little group. And in junior high school, he's a year older than me. And I was a little guy, so he had me there and they called me Scramble. Every time I tell my wife, she's like, no, I can't break dance. If I do, I probably won't get up from the floor, my back and all that. But I'm born and raised in Brooklyn.
My son started with dancing, but so
wow.
That's a connection with him and hip hop.
So David, I know you were a rap.
Well, I loved go-go music too, which was a weird and if you don't go to DC, you don't know go-go music. But in Britain, we got it. Like we had clubs going when hip hop started. We were all about it. And then Trouble Funk would come over and we'd be like, this is great. Whereas all of the States, no one knows who that is. But in DC, when I get in a car in DC, I'm like, hey, Big Tony? And they're like, what? What is that white guy from the UK?
Yeah. And from Scotland, you're probably catching off guard. They're like, what?
Yeah, crazy. It's just this unique DC sound. You'll know it when you hear it. You'll be like, I remember it. I remember the Beastie Boys had that. I remember, some
Public Enemy.
They were all. I love Public Enemy, but that's another story.
They grew up not too far from where
Where was I? I think was I in LA? I was somewhere recently, and I saw what's his name?
Flavor.
Yeah, it's Flavor.
He's still with the clock. He's still running around with the clock.
Doing it at breakfast. I wanted to go up, and I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
It doesn't relate. In Britain, we all loved all that music. We didn't know anything of, anything. We just loved it all. When I came here, I was like, this is weird. People are weird about
I can't wait to talk to Gail about it. I love it, man. I'm going to find some more music, and I'll send you some tracks.
I'm a records man, so I can't find a lot of what I want of the old stuff, man.
So you're a music guy.
I am a music guy. Music and art, paint,
Look at that.
all that stuff.
I learned a lot today, my friend. I think we got to figure out how to get the rap in here a little bit, but we'll leave that out.
That is very funny because they've heard me. Like the message was like everyone had to know all the words to the message as a kid.
It was different back then, man. Who else? Let me see. There's one on my tip of my tongue that I gotta make sure to. Oh my God. Remember the Fat Boys?
Yeah.
I'm looking. So I have a couple of people in the office here, and they go, "Who?"
I know, it's so funny. There's a lot that I'll like musically. I like all sorts of stuff, but I loved punk and post-punk. So I got all that going. I go to concerts on my own right now.
What?
Because people don't know the music, and I love the music. I'm going to go crazy.
So you like, all right.
I get into it. Like, I'm like,
I imagine that you and your son, him being a DJ, I mean, that's pretty cool.
he doesn't like all the music I like, but we go spend time, and he'll ask when he started to the Texans, I'm like, oh, you're going to have to use this stuff. And they were like, no, we want you to use your stuff, like what you like. So he's been in the Black community since he was 17. I don't think we're the only white people he knows, my wife and I, but has been his world.
Is he still a DJ with the Texans?
No, he stopped that this year.
He stopped?
Okay. He's out. It was too much. It was exhausting.
Anymore?
What's that?
You couldn't take watching the Texans lose or something.
No. He just, I think they wanted something different, and he wanted something different. He was kind of miserable last year because weekends, he'll do 6 sets in a weekend, but he would end up, finishing late in the morning, going to the Texans at 7 a.m., having to be there till 3, come back. It just was not. And as they got bigger, less.
It was just part of one of his gigs, right? Because he had his own stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, it was great PR for him to do that for a couple of years. But he's okay. Like he's okay. He gets everything he needs. So
and he's got his own man helping out with some ideas too. What do you think?
He doesn't need me. Natural. He's
no. Oh yeah.
He doesn't need the help. I need to help learn from him. He's had a lot of following over the years.
That's great. I'm going to look him up. David, thank you, man, for the time. This is good stuff. I'm looking forward to it.
This will be fun. All right,
my friend. You take care. Thank you for everything.